What's going on, guys? I hope you're all doing amazing. I'm excited to be back here for week 12. I'm going to finish this and complete. I always start, how do you say that? I always finish what I started. And that is my mission. I wanted to complete this before 2022, just to get that 12 weeks in. And I hope, like I said, you're all doing amazing, that you had a great year. This has definitely been a up and down year. For some people it's been amazing. For some people it hasn't. But at the end of the day, we all have those learning experiences that allow us to progress and move forward in life. And I just want to be able to share some of these things with you guys and maybe help take you to the next level. Hey, and in essence, like I said, I'm always learning in this process as well. So I hope that I can get some feedback from you all. And again, I really want to see you all succeed in 2022. I know I have goals that not necessarily scare me, but at the end of the day, we all have to be a little scared about what we're doing and how we're doing it. So we got to make those goals look a little scary here. So here's what I want to talk about today. Week 12 is giving back. And again, I want to welcome you back here. Look, this is our final week. And this is basically a topic that we all love and we all get a little value from this, I think. But it's very important that I remind you of this, because it's kind of easy to forget to do. And that's pretty much giving back. Like, how do you give back? It doesn't always mean monetary, but did you know that one of the most powerful things that you can do to ensure and speed your success is to basically give back? That's the hardest thing for us to do. We have to basically be able to give. We have to give of ourselves. And when you give to other people, when you help without expectation of anything else in return, you create a certain dynamic in your mind mentally, right? It's almost like subconsciously you're feeling yourself, or you're telling yourself that you're powerful, and that in addition to everything you're working on and all the goals that you have, this is a huge part of your to get things done list and that you have in your life. So you still have the energy and the capacity and the wherewithal and the heart to help people in need, right? And again, those things that when I say need, it doesn't mean monetary all the time. And I know you can just kind of use your imagination as to what I mean by giving, but it's very, very powerful. And if you think back to any time in your life where you've been able to help somebody, you got a certain reward that you can't necessarily put into words or articulate, but there was a feeling created that made you feel good, right? And you wanted more of that. You wanted more of that feeling. And maybe you just forgotten to do more of this. And a lot of the time, it might seem counterintuitive, but but think about it. If I'm wasting time or resources by giving to other people, then how the hell can I keep progressing on my goals? That's a fair assessment, right? I don't want you to go into this conversation this week making it sound like you're just giving back, and just giving back is something we all want to do, and we never question if we're wasting our time, right? So let's address this. Are you wasting your time and resources when you give back? The answer is absolutely no. Because when you're giving back to people, you're generating a force, a reciprocity like type of force, basically, a feeling of goodwill. And when you're giving back, I don't want you to think that you're doing this just so that people can owe you. That's the wrong kind of mindset, in my opinion. You never want to enter a situation, guys, where you're helping or providing charity just so that person can owe you down the road. But think about it this way. But when you give from a place of truly wanting to give because it makes you feel good, and you know in your heart of hearts, right, that the person receiving that help is getting an advantage and getting a benefit they wouldn't have otherwise gotten, right? That's a universal force that none of us can not deny. None of us can deny that. I promise you, you cannot deny it. So here's like I said earlier, it will create a feeling of happiness and satisfaction that you just cannot replace. And if you can create this in your body, then as you work towards your goals, as you work towards the things you're working on in your life, you will feel better about yourself, right? And when you feel better about yourself, you do better work at the end of the day. you're more inspired, or we are more inspired to bring our A game to the table when it comes to doing things or doing those actions that are moving your personal goals forward. So look, giving back is something you want to make sure that you always consider in your life. Okay. There's 4 things we want to suggest you to do. And in this 12th and final week, here are the action steps. Grab a pen, piece of paper, whatever you got to do, or just listen mentally, right? Take mental notes and just go back and listen to this again. This works for me. This works for anybody I've ever worked with. And some people that a lot of people that I've helped, coached, and just given advice, because look, this is, you got to remember, I come on here and do this. I don't do this for money. I do it because I really and truly love it. I love to give the knowledge, and hey, whatever, if it's free, it's free. But here's the thing, most of the people are not going to use it anyway. And I hate to say it that way, but if 100 people hear this, one person's going to take action. That's just the truth. That's the truth in anything we do in life. So here are the action steps. Each day this week, give somebody in your life a compliment. See, that's not monetary. That's just something that will make you feel good, and then make that person feel good at the end of the day. You didn't do anything in particular that basically made that person, you didn't do anything to receive anything back. You're just giving a compliment. It could be just telling them like how nice they look. It could be complimenting them on something that's important to them. I mean, if they're working really hard and at becoming a better athlete, or getting in better shape, or I don't know, whatever it is that they're doing, right? Then take time to give them an honest and truthful compliment. Now, the second thing is, don't just say something for the sake of saying it, but give them a compliment. If you haven't noticed that they look any thinner, but you've noticed how hard they're working. I mean, I don't know, maybe they look thinner, maybe they don't, I don't know. But you just notice something about them and their work ethic, or whatever that may be. Then compliment them on hard they're working. Say, damn, you're really putting in the work, right? That's just a compliment. That makes people feel good. If you really pay attention to the other people or the other person, it will not be difficult to identify and spot areas to give them a genuine compliment. Because if you notice, we live in a negative world. Everything's about negativity. Everything's about how we grew up, right? That we couldn't do this and we couldn't do that, and everything was a no, right? Because that's one of the first words we learned is yes and no as kids. So I think that most of us probably got the notion that we couldn't achieve certain things in life. And I think that mentally, there's a lot of people that are holding themselves back, and it's a form of self-sabotage. So I want to kind of get into, that's something I'm going to talk about as well, but I'm going to keep going. All right? This is the third action step. All right. And I want you to think about help out 2 people this week without being asked first. I guarantee you, this is going to make you go a little bit above and beyond yourself, right? You're stepping out of your comfort zone, because you may not even notice that other people need help. Isn't that crazy? Because we're so stuck in our own world that it's hard to think about just complimenting people, because it's such a negative world right now. The media, the negative people, the negative things that are going on in our world, and just around us, it's an abundance of all that negativity. And at the end of the day, it's just going to take a few seconds, or even if that, to just say, look, I mean, you're doing a great job. You look nice today. Be genuine about it, right? Because at the end of the day, we are human lie detectors. We can detect things, right? Just in a natural, innate ability that most humans have, is to be able to detect whether something is dangerous or not dangerous, right? That survival mode that survival mode of your brain, I think, is the amygdala kicks in. I don't want to get all technical here, but at the end of the day, those things kick in, and you start to realize what isn't good and what isn't, and what is good. So look, maybe here's a good example. Maybe you're out in public and you see somebody struggling with their grocery bags, whatever. I don't know. Hustle over and help them. Load those bags into their car and just enjoy the experience of being able to help them. It's just a minute out of your time to give somebody else a boost, to give them an advantage, like we talked about earlier. I want you guys to look for opportunities And then I want you to tune your mind into the opportunity to do something nice. Just do something nice for someone, man. You don't have to get anything from it, and it's just going to make us feel good. It's going to make you feel good. It's going to make you feel different every time you do it. And it's going to become a habit. But hey, at the end of the day, sometimes we need that positive, kind of feedback personally to be able to help other people and to feel good, right? And it doesn't have to cost you a lot of time, but the amount of benefit you receive will absolutely be massive. I'm telling you, incredibly massive. These last 2 points I want to cover together, and that is that it takes some time to research either a person or an organization that really needs some help and find a way to help them, right? Because think about that, I always tell people that if I want to be on a stage of where someone is, that I want to be at that level. I always tell them, look, it sounds kind of weird that people want to go work for free or help for free. It's weird to a lot of people because what's free in this world? But at the end of the day, there are a lot of people that will accept your assistance. Maybe go to that person that you want to be like and say, hey, look, how can I be of assistance to you if you're not where you want to be? Now, there's so many good causes out there. There's so many people struggling to make their life work. They're struggling for one reason or another. Find something that is really in tune with your heart. Find something you want to be involved with, and at least solving part of the problem, right? Because, dude, here's my thing. If you're not solving problems, we're not figuring out how to solve a problem for people. And that was one of my things. I always wanted to do what I wanted to do. And I never thought about, I did think about it, right? But I always thought when you're actually out there trying to create opportunity or creating opportunity for yourself, you're not necessarily thinking about people and like their problems, other than, you offering a service or a product, whether it's tangible or intangible. You're offering a service to somebody, but is it really solving their problems? Or are you just plugging them into something that they don't need? Because eventually that's gonna backfire on you, right? And I wanted to digress on that for a minute, but there's no shortage of this. You can go out to YouTube, you can go to the internet, you can just look in your community for people that truly need your help. I remember I was a volunteer for SCORE just to help small businesses create basically ideas, right? That was like my purpose, and it still is my purpose, is to help businesses and people find their purpose. And what I mean by finding your purpose is sometimes you're doing something and you absolutely hate doing it. And a lot of times we hate, if you're working in a job, the reason you don't like the job more than likely is because you don't like your boss. And that's a whole nother topic, but that's something I definitely will touch on later on. Here's what happens, right? The last thing I was talking about is that when you find people in your community that you can really help, I told you SCORE was one of the things that I used to do as a volunteer. Here's what it does. It does a couple of things. One, it kind of humbles you a little bit. It helps you reconnect with things that you need to be grateful for, because part of this whole success in 12 weeks system is just pushing you. It's just to push you. It's helping you get to a new level in your life. I mean, you might forget to appreciate all the good things that you already have because you're working to get even better. And that's cool. But when you help other people, it reconnects you to, wow, there's a lot of people that have it a lot worse than me or than I, right? So, and A, I feel a lot more grateful, but B, I could actually do something. And I'm privileged. I have a gift, or I have a skill, or I have a talent that can help this person. And when you genuinely do this, when you genuinely help somebody that needs the help, you will feel an incredible sensation of reward. You feel proud of yourself. And when you see their spirits lifted, I guarantee you, it will only reinforce that feeling even further. You take that feeling with you through the entire day, through your entire week, right? Really? So look, here's what happens. So it makes you a better person. It makes you do the actions that you're doing in your day-to-day work, and here to be a more successful person at the end of the day. It makes them more powerful in actions as well. So look, really, I mean, I like, really, at the end of the day, it takes some time. Take some time this week. Do this to find somebody or an organization that you could really use, that could really use your help, like your skill, and use all of your resources to the maximum benefit, and watch how much it not only benefits them, but you as well, 100%. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you so much. I completed the 12-week deal. It's been an interesting run, and I'm always grateful for anyone that could definitely plug in with me, use me as a resource, because at the end of the day, we all have to work on ourselves, and I'm more than happy to provide any details or any information. Again, if I tell 100 people, I'm almost assured that one person is going to use it at the end of the day, because we put energy into something that we actually want to do. And if you don't want to do something, or if we don't want to do something, we don't put energy into it. We don't even think about it sometimes. We think about it and go, oh, I got to do that, but that's not the most important thing. So just want you guys to really think about honing in on what it is what's your purpose? What is your, we always talk about your why, but your why can't be a dormant why, it has to be an active why. And so look, this doesn't need to be a New Year's resolution. This needs to be a long-term goal, is to know your purpose here, because we all have one. Looking forward to hearing from you. Have a great, amazing 2022. And I'm always here for you guys. Thanks.